Being an entrepreneur is hardly a walk in the park. Being a social entrepreneur comes with its own unique wins and challenges. Hi, I'm Ayesha Naseem, co founder of LiveWire, an online platform that is all about the first person narrative of the startup ecosystem in the UAE. In May 2018, I was accepted to the Badiri Social Entrepreneurship Programme on a scholarship along with 12 extraordinary women. It led to the start of a campaign for educating about and advocating for social entrepreneurship. With thanks to Nama Women Advancement Establishment and School for Social Entrepreneurs, LiveWire is bringing to the forefront voices of social entrepreneurs right here in the UAE in a special podcast and blog series. This week, I'm in conversation with Reem Al-Ghaith, the founder of Enable, a social enterprise empowering people of determination. How does one grow a pioneering corporate social responsibility program into a successful brand while unlocking the potential of a key section of the society? Listen to find out. Today we're sitting down with Reem Al-Ghaith, who is the founder of Enable, which is associated with the group. Before we get into all the other questions, I will ask Reem to tell us about Enable and give us insights into understanding what the organization is and what it does.
Thank you, Asha. I'm happy that we have this chance to be on LiveWire and get the chance to talk about a close to my heart project. Enable is a social enterprise under Desi Group, as you mentioned. We are very proud of this entity just because we're creating opportunities and we are talking about business and how business can be practiced with a good impact on the community and society.
Right.
So this is, I think, an equation that most of the business practitioners would want to implement. Since we got to know about the concept of social enterprise through so many ideas that we've been thinking about, we came to understand and how we can create something like Enable. First of all, I want to mention how we came about Enable. So Enable is a transition from a CSR, a project that was initiated by Desi Group. And Desi Group is a local UAE national company based in Dubai. They've been operating since 1988 in the agricultural sector within Dubai, and now they cater for landscape designs. Nurseries, and we can do anything outdoor. So everything is green, everything is with the nature and the environment.
Best place to work.
Best place to work with. And it's because of the management and the drive with the vision and the strategy of the company. They wanted to create more impact than what they're already doing with the environment. With every kind of project they do water preservation, they do soil, organic, everything. So they have environmental initiatives. They wanted to get into a different sector, which is the social sector. So in 2006, they approached the Ministry of Community Development now. Then it was the Ministry of Social Affairs. And they thought about what is it like to provide work opportunities, since we're working within plants and flowers.
Right.
And we've seen models being applied abroad. Why not practice it here in the UAE and Dubai with our private entity? They experimented it with a few students within the center under the ministry, and it worked. They invested in it, and we hired, if my memory serves me right, in 2006, we started with 8 employees, and then we gradually increased the number till we reached to 40.
Wow.
And while doing that, we created an infrastructure where we felt, and upon recommendation from the ministry, that we need to have therapists in-house to monitor and to supervise. Since then, and this initiative has been an investment that's very close to the founder's heart. They've been doing great. They've been working in a nursery and plantation along with their peers. They weren't included from the beginning. It was like a separated unit because we had to create that system and operation and how to deliver the skills.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, it's necessary anyways, because the main aim is not just to employ them and pay salaries, but for them to be productive to the company as well. And as a true CSR project, they have to come back to the end lines of the business and to the result. Right. As in a return on investment. So we knew that and we worked toward that. It's just then when we felt that, okay, this is working well, the employees are productive, we have good relations with our stakeholders, the parents, the government, the management, we felt that we need to make this sustainable in a way.
Right.
And that's when we felt that something like Enable could be created. And we got to understand about what the social enterprise model is, and we felt it would be suitable for us. Now, Enable is a business scenario where a product is created and sold, and the revenues is 100 back reinvested in that model. But what is the social problem that's being solved is to deliver retail skills for the people with minor intellectual disabilities, to give them enough skills for them to start their own startups and small businesses with their guardians.
So Enable is now becoming an incubator for entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
And is creating a positive, inclusive space for people with minor intellectual disabilities. What got you started trying to get this CSR project of the blueprint, if you will, to its state today?
Well, like any other company, a company can keep on investing in a social initiative.
Right.
But then for how long?
True.
Right? So being aware of what we do, we wanted to make sure that this initiative, because it's successful, is to prolong, to grow,
right,
to sustain. That's the main reason where we felt the social enterprise model would fit us nicely within the group.
So you saw the opportunity, there was a genuine niche in the market, speaking in pure business language, and then to flip it on its head and say, let's make this a social enterprise on its own. To give context to how I got to know about Reem and Enable was because of the Badiri Social Entrepreneurship Programme for a field trip to Darfur, which is in Dubai Festival City. And when we went there, we were a group of 20 that day. We had the team from Namar come in, we had the School from Social Entrepreneurs facilitators there, and we had Reem on site as well. We met the therapist that Reem has mentioned. There is this amazing positive energy.
Mm-hmm.
You can enter that space, and it's not only to do with the plants and the greenery around you, but there is this amazing dichotomy of peace and energy at the same time. So you are excited about being there, and you also feel relaxed at the same time. Coming to social enterprise, how has your experience been in trying to communicate the value of a social enterprise to stakeholders, beneficiaries, and everybody else involved?
Well, it was a very new concept. I mean, to us, not globally even, but we knowing about that model and trying to explain it to the management first of all, because to them it was a kind of a foreign concept, right? And they wanted to know exactly how the business model would fit under a classic business scenario.
True.
So explaining how would this work, they gave us the support. We had to create the plan on how it would be sustained, and eventually that's exactly what they want at the end of the day. They don't want to lose the project, but they want to continue with it, and therefore we reached to this level now,
right,
of commitment and support from their side. For other stakeholders, which is the parents, and they are equally important as the management who are initiating this project, as the guardians and the parents of the employees. They now would understand that not only would he be an employee where he just does a routine job and then goes back to home. No, now he's going to acquire more skills where at the end of the day he would be able to create something and maybe to sell it and to, create his own independent way of living. They understand, some of the parents, they understand the importance of this. And therefore they are giving us flexibility on how we can grow with them and we can go to places with them. Because we have this amount of years that we work together, there is a high level of trust between the stakeholders and as a group. They understand that they are not in a normal job, they are learning, they are being independent in a way, they're acquiring skills. So we communicate that to parents. We share with them quarterly reports about what they do, what skills, behavioral, production, they're up or they're down, something happened that is negative, how can we rectify it and create positive aspects out of it and stuff like that. So the relationship is pretty strong. In terms of community, it's all about creating that awareness and educating people, and especially corporate society. The conversion itself, we weren't sure that it would work, but with those few years that we've been operating, we see that it is working and we are paying and we are being cost efficient, slowly sustaining. So the more and more we meet with corporate society and entities or events, we share that kind of knowledge. So that's how we communicate with our stakeholders.
We discussed this prior to beginning the podcast, that from the beginning you've been very clear on your vision, on what you want to achieve. And I think that is something which a lot of social entrepreneurs, fellow or future social entrepreneurs, struggle with. And since that had clarity, it allowed you to have a conversation. Describe the process of how does someone get onto the program or become an employee of Enable, and what are the stages that they go through?
Okay, so given if there is a vacancy in the first place, then an employee could come for a screening interview. All the years we've been practicing this, we understand that even if we have trainees within the program, we need to screen their abilities to make sure that within this few months they'll acquire a real skill. Even if it was one skill, we'll be happy. We are not opening the door for anyone. So with our therapist, we can do that. We created a screening interview. We have like an orientation for a week to see how well they go. So we make sure that whoever is included in a program, in our program or in the entity, we would know exactly if it's a good fit for both of us. So that's the first phase. And then according to the screening test, we know the ability and the category in which we are already created under Enable, because we do have a set of categories or groups, if you may. Group A, Group B, Group C. And why did we categorize? Because each group has a skill set requirement of what they need to learn or where they at and the level of different kind of criteria.
The parameters, basically.
Yes, exactly. We need to know this because that would save time. That would build up on what's already there, and it will take them in a way where we know that they are going to head to the Group A, which is the highest level of capabilities and skills. So we created that system. Of course, we didn't do it from day one. It was like trial and error all along. Trust me. And before it was about work inclusion and being involved in a proper job. But now it's because of retail, it's a whole different game now. It's
right.
Retail, it's different criteria of any kind of startups that you're aware of.
Yes.
But the key word here is to simplify.
Everybody loves that word.
Exactly. Simplify and being so real and practical.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be complicated. We're dealing with a certain demographic that has certain needs. Yeah. So we know exactly how to deliver this knowledge the way they would take it and and digest it.
Yes.
Right? And repetition is another key.
Interesting.
Right? Yes. For our program. So we take a retail scenario, we break it up to the ABC simple form. Great. Of create a product, make sure the product is clean and use quality materials, price the product, right, and merchandise and sell.
And we've seen that happen.
And you've seen that happen.
Yes, like clockwork. Please pay a visit to any of their locations. It just works so efficiently, and I think it gives them a real sense of empowerment. More than empowerment. It's so dignified because nobody's constantly telling them that this is what you do, this is what you do.
No.
And like you mentioned, that it's so easy, it's broken down to the ABCs. They're able to tell you, well, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, and they can tell you why they're doing it in that process.
Exactly. And that's why it's working. Mind you, because there is a prior relationship, and it's been building up since so many years. And that's why we have the privilege to have that kind of a relationship where they can trust what we teach them.
Very important, yes.
Very important. And then after that, with understanding those three skills and based on our retail rehab, which has so many criteria for each group, our exit or our final stages for them to understand that that talented individual can be somewhat independent in creating his own product and managing his small business. But we realize in this case that we need the guardian support. So after we are done and we know that he's ready to exit or to start his own thing, then that's where we achieve the ultimate vision.
For Enable as
exactly.
well. Yes.
So as you mentioned, we work as an incubator more or less.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's so much more than just creating a product.
Exactly. But again, maybe someone would think, okay, there is an exit strategy where he has to exit. No, he doesn't have to exit. We give him the choice. If he decides to exit, then khalas, I'm ready to start my own thing. He is knowledgeable, right?
It enables them to take that decision for themselves.
Exactly. We had so many of them who were with us and they left for a reason or another. But if they leave with something that they can build up on.
They've gained a lot more than what they've come in with.
Exactly. So they have another door to open if they leave Desert Group. And that's our ultimate vision. Now, mentioning that is, even when we reach to that level, we want to help them for another additional years. Say that they want to start their own thing, we'll be helping them for a year where we can create a brand for them, a sub brand, launch it, manage it from a retail perspective, and that's what we can do to the very end. And then it's off with the guardian.
Providing products that have been created,
Yes.
which are plants, potted plants, in many different beautiful varieties. Please check out their Instagram handle. It is beautiful. The images are great. The products are top quality. We've seen them being made in person as well, and you can go ahead and ask them and they will be more than happy to create your own custom piece. Interact with them as you would with another individual.
Definitely. They'll be more knowledgeable about plants than anyone, because they've been working with plants since 2006, so they'll surprise you. And they're very confident because they're used to it. A big part of what Enable is doing is not just even working with the group internally, but it's also going out, sharing the knowledge. It's with peers within the sector, it's sharing the knowledge with government as authorities, and it's also engaging with communities. And a big part of what we do is we go on road shows every year, we go to schools, we do workshops where we educate kids. This is the model, and they're the one who's going to deliver it, not the management or the supervisors, the stars themselves, because part of what we do is we deliver knowledge for kids and students, but we also empower them by saying, listen, you can teach them, they will not teach you.
Exactly.
You can teach them. So a big success criteria in Enable is motivation. That's what they feed on. We understand that from being with them, and we understand that motivation is the key. If they're highly motivated, they're empowered, they perform, and they would want to stay, and they would want to create more variety. And if you give them space of creativity, when we started Enable by Pinterest images, we
the boards,
the boards, and we were working in a nursery. We had like a variety of plants and trees.
You have everything at your disposal.
And we just saw a picture or two, so okay, hey, we can do this, and we wanted to work with succulents because we know we're not going to get any hassle of watering and maintaining, and clients will be happy with something very durable. SubhanAllah, it came that way. We've been using those pictures as inspirations throughout the years. Now they're putting their own touches. They're saying, hey, we can do this, we can use this spot. So this is the process. It's slow, but it's growing.
Very effective. How has been the experience of explaining to potential investors or stakeholders, more specifically the bank? We've had a lot of stories where there has been a gap in understanding what a social enterprise aims to achieve, how it is not a charitable enterprise for sure, it's not an NGO, there is going to be a return on investment. And mashallah, Enable and Reem, for sure, it has to do with the vision that kept them steadfast. How has your experience been in communicating that vision to National Bank of Fujairah, which has been a key driver of support with the organization?
Definitely. Before National Bank of Fujairah, I want to share the ordeal of explaining what a social enterprise. Mind you, if I was like a social enterprise, which I'm independent totally, is something. But when you're under a social enterprise, there's a group, a huge group of companies, they have a lot more question marks. Then why is not there's a group supporting you? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a double-edged sword.
That's double. You have no idea how many banks have knocked the door of managers, CEOs, corporate companies, of how they can support. And I'm trying to explain that this is an initiative, but now we need growth and we need extra support, and this is what our mother company can provide, but that's it.
That's it,
not anything more.
Right.
So it's a lot of conversations, especially even when we first create proposals. They understand that there is no profit going to DG, it's profits coming to keep this going and make it bigger.
Yes, it's reinvesting profits.
It's reinvesting profits. So they need to know that. And it was difficult. It wasn't easy. But then there will always be partners that understand, have shared platforms of CSR or of social initiative or social drive. So I guess we were lucky to be connected with National Bank of Fujairah, since National Bank of Fujairah also deals with Desert Group. And because they have that kind of a platform, very strong platform, may I add, they were interested in Enable. And when we first approached them, we approached them for our mobile store, the van, and they loved the concept. And I approached them with just very small portion of the whole sum, because I was trying to have 6 sponsors for one van. So when I went in with like 20K or so, Because I thought if it was broken down, I'll get sponsors easily. If it's the whole chunk, no, it's difficult.
Interesting.
And with lots of meetings and lots of,
back and forth.
Exactly, because they need to know what they're investing in, and that's required in
any conversation.
Any conversation.
Sure.
They came back and they said, Reem, we will fund the whole thing.
Great.
Which is a dream. I did not expect them to come back to me with this.
Wow.
Because they really felt it's a good project. So our van now, we call it Awareness on the Road, a van which is fabricated where it opens up to be a store.
Great.
And then you have an indoor store and then stairs and then you have the tables and the guys working in front of everyone. So they go and create engaging workshops and pop-ups in government and corporates and parks. That's a huge part of our awareness strategy and advocacy in a way.
It's like a food truck but with plants.
Exactly. And that's what I went and told the bank, and I told them, we have lots of food trucks. It's about time to have something other than food, right? And them themselves now, they have MBF on trucks now. They have mobile banks. So the concept they love so much, and it's practical. We go out to the clients, but it's more valuable for us because it's social and because we want to create awareness. So it has a powerful impact that way, visually.
Visually, for sure. So if you see an NBF van on the streets, you should know it came because of this.
I don't want to say this. They had a prior plan, but it worked.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked. They had a prior plan. I mean, meeting the CEO himself said, Reem, 5 years ago we were talking about a bank on wheels, and now you come with this. So they had a vision before to do it. Yeah?
So I think that is what it was about, the platforms coming together.
I think we were the spark, maybe.
For sure, there is a huge, we don't know how much of the pie can come from NBF themselves, but for sure there has to be some kind of push about having just about anything on wheels if you want to do it.
Exactly.
So it allows you to, helps you reach more people, be more effective, and make it cool as well.
And mentioning NBF, I have to mention Carrefour. I mean, Carrefour came at the same time, more or less, with NBF. We weren't the one who approached them, to be honest. They were the one who heard about us and came. And exactly. And they were interested in how we can cooperate. And we decided, both of us, that maybe we can, I keep saying, we need to have the first stand-up store that will be managed by them. Can you imagine that in Dubai? And I keep saying that, and they gave me that. They gave me a store. And that's how we are now collaborating with Carrefour, a big partner where they offered us spaces in 7-8 branches.
Which is very tough to ask.
It's tough, but it's huge from them. It's a huge investment from their part. And our flagship store is the one you
visited,
and that's where the guys are there, and they are doing like daily arrangements. And see, I always say with even not social, but when partners come together, it's more powerful.
There's more synergy, and you get there faster. The impact's greater. It's quite fantastic the way you've managed, mashallah, to bring key players of the market which are known to people, and to then get access to 7-8 stores, because people are fighting for shelf space there.
Exactly.
To be in front of people, and then to be given. It's a good size.
It's a very good size
that allows, I think, up to 6 to 8 people to easily sit down and create their own flower arrangements and whatnot
for free.
For free, yes. Okay. Wow.
You know what that means, right? It's a huge amount of money, and that's how they're investing in us.
It is.
They're investing because, again, they do have a platform of CSR, and they have this provision to each company can have an initiative that caters to a certain demographic or certain social problem. Carrefour has that for the determined ones, and we were lucky, and they wanted the concept that was already working. Sure, they didn't want anyone that's still experimenting. And Ebel was a strong platform when they came to us. They understood that we have already branches, and DGC is our sister company, but we have that logistic working out for us. We had an Aswaq as well for a year or two, so we have that system.
There was a proof of concept in place. They weren't gambling on that completely.
They weren't.
They'd seen it work.
They weren't. We already had distribution channels. We have a system. We presented that to them, and they made sure that whatever space is going to be managed well.
Okay.
Because see, in Able, we always had it from first day that it will be a strong brand. It wouldn't be a brand that would, hey, come and buy this item because it's been done by them. Day one, that was a very important goal for us. The first market that we entered was Ripe, the first huge market that we entered. And we went in saying that, okay, we'll display the products, but we will never say it's a social enterprise. We will never say determined ones did it. We did not open up our roll-up banners, nothing, for an hour or two.
Okay.
And they're picking up. And we're saying, okay, let's see, would that product be picked up or not? It was our first major market, because we were going to schools before with just very small tables, and we used to sell just very small items, quantities. But Ripe was a big, for just one day. And when we were there, and we say, okay, they're picking up the products. They like the products.
Yeah, it has nothing to do with who made it at that point.
Exactly. Yeah. And then when we opened the roll-up banner, it went crazy.
They flew off the shelf.
They flew out of the shelf. And they came and they were talking to the guys, because the guys were there, and they were okay.
Yes. The disability, it's not visible.
It's not visible.
So you wouldn't know if they're standing there because, well, they're associated with the brand, or they actually made it.
Exactly. And that's why we always stress, Enable is a strong brand. It's a quality brand, and whoever deals with us, a client who's doing it for social or is just doing it for business, they're getting what they're getting. They're getting for what they're paid for.
It has to be a quality product.
Exactly.
Nobody's going to buy from you a second time.
Exactly.
Regardless of whether it's a social enterprise or a regular enterprise.
Exactly. To maintain it and to communicate it to people.
I think that really sets apart a social enterprise from an NGO or a charity.
Exactly.
I think the branding is such that, okay, I realize the quality isn't great, but what do you expect? With NGOs and charities.
Oh, with NGOs and charities.
The branding is such that you think, well, come on, it's for charity. You're helping someone. It's okay if the quality isn't great.
No,
it helps off one.
I think it shouldn't be that way.
Exactly. Yeah, that's the thing. That's the branding that goes with it.
Yeah. Maybe that's what some of the centers are doing, but I think, they have beautiful products in some of the centers, rehabilitation centers, but they need the marketing. They need the marketing and the communication, that could drive their products.
If you were wondering whether Enable's a small player or a big player and whatnot, Reem, I would ask you to please mention a couple of your clients who've been steadfast with purchasing products. Mind you, purchasing products, not taking them off for free. There's no free lunches.
No, nothing.
Proper.
No discounts, but discounts on bulk orders. We're very fierce.
Good strategy.
Yeah, we're very fierce.
That's great. So,
okay, where should I start? Alhamdulillah, we have a huge list of supporters. We call them supporters.
Okay.
They're clients, but we call them supporters.
Okay.
And even when we address them in the Instagram, hey supporters.
Oh.
So the latest client is Dubai Properties. We are giving all the villas that are sold or that are marketed to people has an Enable pot in there. They heard about us and we connect with them, and we have the right items. Our client targets and segments are we cater to hotel lobbies, to F&Bs, restaurants, centerpieces, offices, airport lounges, residential areas. Corporate gifts are a very famous thing, is they love our corporate gifts. Majid Al Fatim corporate gifts. We are in Fly Dubai lounges. We are in Jumeirah Tihat Towers. We are in Sofitel Palm, Emirates catering offices.
It is a product of just the passion and drive that you've been having, the clarity and vision, and communicating the value of the product.
Exactly, yeah.
Which has now come to a point where there is interest from the market, not so much as making inquiries, but inquiries coming in to see if they can
We are
support.
at that stage. We are at that stage, and we are privileged. We've been pushing ourselves. We've been running around, me and my team, knocking the doors and trying to market and sell the product. Now we're having people coming to us, and that's, mashallah.
It's very, very unique to enterprises to have inquiries come in.
Customers, they refer us to each other, and especially if they like the product. Again, it's the product as well. And I keep saying the statement that the social part of it is the cherry on the top. The cherry on the top, wallah, because they're paying for it.
That also percolates down to the employees when they realize that they're paying us for the work we're doing. It's not because of certain other reasons regarding being personal determination. One question, and it touches upon what you said earlier, that we're not going to brand ourselves as a social enterprise or social impact. We're going to talk as though we are a commercial enterprise, much like any of the other competitors that exist in the market. We had a conversation with another social entrepreneur, and she said something similar. She said, I'd rather avoid saying social enterprise whenever I go to pitch meetings. It is about pitching to them as a regular enterprise, which also has a social impact, like you mentioned, the cherry on the top. Have you avoided saying those words at all times?
No, I do exactly the opposite, because I need them to know that this is a business that's worthwhile at the end. But then I really stress on the quality of the products and all the service follow-ups that we do. I mean, everything that a regular business would offer, we would do it. But we really want to advocate at the end of the day.
Okay.
Maybe the nature of that social enterprise has nothing to do with advocating for disabilities, for instance. But
Sure.
for us, a major part of Enable is talking about the abilities and advocating for people with determination and how they can perform. Just given a little training and they can fly. And that's very important with Enable, and that's why we always mention it at pitching things.
What do you do when you take time off? Do you take time off, first of all?
Yeah, I take time off too, of course. I mean,
To recharge.
yeah, to recharge. I love to take images, photography, and I love just to go around and document things.
Okay.
So
great.
I like mainly, it's called documentary photography. So that's what I do and enjoy it. It's like something that I zone out of work. But Enable is a passion at the end of the day. And I think working in social context like that, there is always like a personal involvement.
Yes.
It's not just business at the end of the
Very
day.
deeply personal, yes.
It's very deeply personal, and I believe you saw how we are as a team.
Oh yes, visit her when she's at Enable at any of the branches, and you will see the
Yeah.
fire and the passion and the incredible warmth.
And we are truly a family. I mean, when we go to markets outside, we go for fun. Really, I mean, when we go in trucks, we go, hey, there's a field truck coming. It's not more than selling rather than having fun. We'll be stopping, like when we're in markets, okay, where's the best karak place, or where's the, we eat
Oh,
it,
wow.
stuff, we have fun.
Yeah, like you do with family as well. You're out on a road trip and you're like,
Exactly,
let's stop and do
exactly.
this. That's
So it's very
great.
personal. Mhm.
If you had to explain social enterprise to someone, how would you explain it?
I don't want to sound like a textbook, but social enterprise is a general business practice that offers products and services, but at the end of the day, within this practice, they solve a social problem, like with the practice itself, whether it's environment, whether it's social, or any kind of case that they want to solve, or they want to impact the community in a positive manner with their practice, with their business practice. So that's what we're doing with Enable. We are selling succulents, but then there is a huge story behind those succulents that would impact people with determination, especially from the intellectual disability point of view, where they can start, they can create a product, have their families, friends help them sell it, and then they make their own money, they sustain their own lives. They're not just sitting and doing nothing.
Right now, is Enable registered as a regular trading entity? Or?
Yes, it's an LLC, and we're waiting for that license to come up so that we can jump and register ourselves as a social enterprise.
So
pay the regulations.
what's the latest that you've heard about the regulation?
Well, the last time I've been meeting with the Dubai Economic Department. It's going on. I mean, there is progress, but I'm not so sure where they're reached. But definitely they're working on it, and they're geared towards it, because there is a lot of social enterprises that are already operating
Yes.
within the UAE,
Yes.
but they're not legalized as social enterprises.
Yes.
So I know it's going to happen.
Inshallah.
Yeah.
We'll probably be leading that, because across the world there isn't a regular license.
Mhm.
UK does not have social enterprise
Oh, I thought it
licensing.
was.
Depends on how they have certain names given to it or tags, but ultimately at the heart of it, they're a regular enterprise.
Oh, okay.
India does not have a social enterprise license, so I think in that way will probably be a first for
Oh
anyone
wow,
in
I
the
didn't
world
know that.
to have that. And I think it would really enable,
Yeah.
no pun intended.
Yes. Thank you.
It would really enable a lot of social entrepreneurs to get out into the market faster.
Yeah.
With
It would.
lesser resources required to create that amazing impact.
And I'm sure they're going to do it in a way where it serves that entity very well. So we're just waiting for that to happen.
Inshallah.
Inshallah.
Everybody who's
Everyone,
listening to
I
that
know.
podcast and
It'll be interesting
otherwise.
to see things come up.
Yes, and I think probably inshallah when we do a follow-up to discuss the success story that Enable becomes above and beyond what it is
Inshallah.
today, inshallah. I think at that time we'll probably be discussing, yay!
Yes, inshallah.
The license has come up and
Inshallah.
inshallah, and it's happening. Thank you so much, Reem. It has been
Most
such a
welcome.
pleasure.
Same here.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so
I enjoy talking about Enable, enjoying meeting people like you who are passionate about startups and any social project. It's always nice and fun. Thank you for the opportunity.
My pleasure. And please feel free to reach out. We will be linking all of their social media handles as well as Reem's handle for any documentary photography.
Sure. Yeah, I would be happy to. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you so much, Reem.
Thank you.
That was Reem Al-Ghaith. On our previous episode, we heard from Asma Ahmad, the founder of Zaha Experience. Find the link to the episode in the description box below. Like the content? Give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and tell everyone you know.